Hello, it's the Randy Duck and welcome back for another video. And today I've got two replays to show you in the Tier 10 tank destroyer, the Technodrome. Now this of course is the brand new Turtle Tank license vehicle which was released on Tuesday. And what I'm going to do is, before we get into the two games I've got to show you today, I'm just going to quickly explain a little bit about the tank, and then we'll get into the replays where I share my crew and equipment. So what is this tank? Well, it's basically the Manticore, the Tier 10 light tank, but with a super gun. So what have you got? You've got fantastic concealment. I've got my concealment down to, with this build, to 239. Obviously, unlike the Manticore, this is a TD, so you lose concealment on the move. But you've got great mobility, 65 kilometers an hour, fantastic concealment, and then you've got a brilliant gun. Now, if you've ever played the Warhammer tanks, the Nemesis, it's got a very similar gun where all three rounds have 290 penetration, and all of them have 1,380 shell velocity, but they have different alpha and different reloads. So you've got the first round with 500 alpha with around about sort of 8 seconds reload. You've then got the second round with 600, your premium round, 630 alpha, but with a longer reload, like a sort of 10-second reload. And then you have the 250 alpha for your final gun, but a very quick reload. So what that means is you can basically swap between the rounds for what situation needs to happen. Now I tend to, because it gets confusing using all the three rounds, I tend to just use the premium rounds for the 630 alpha and then the final rounds for the 250 alpha, because generally I kind of find playing the tank, I didn't really need the 500 alpha rounds. The 630 was just so nice, and then you just swap to that 250 alpha when you need to finish off a low health tank, basically, or you just when the situation arises. But this tank is absolutely incredible. It's nuts. I've had a lot of fun playing it. Obviously, I was delayed getting this video out because I was away for work, as I said in my previous video, but it's actually crazy. The only weakness it has is it has 8 degrees of gun elevation. So sometimes when you're trying to look up, that can be an issue when you're on a ridge and stuff like that. That's the only real weakness. It does also have 8 degrees of gun depression, so it's quite good at playing the ridge lines when you're shooting down. So that's it for me rambling on. What I'll do, I'll just get into the replay now, and I'll explain more about the tank as we get into this replay. Okay, so here we are for replay number 1 then on Erlenberg. Now, one thing I forgot to mention actually at the start of the video is this tank has 410 view range, which is crazy because it doesn't have like the nerfed view range the Manticore light tank has. But what that means is you can basically, with the combined factor of your good view range, good concealment, you outspot a lot of targets and you're able to then farm with your fantastic gun. And yeah, this tank can be really, really good. Now, if you want to see the crew and equipment setup I run, you'll be able to see that at the bottom of the screen as I speak. One piece of equipment I do like to take, crew thing I like to take is the clutch braking, because this tank does turn a little bit slow. So you may want to use that. If not, you can try and replace it with a different perk, but I like to use it. So there we go, we get a good start, slapping in for our first round of 630 damage. And now we're going to relocate and see if we can try and shoot these tanks unspotted. And you can use that good mobility this tank has, just to keep pulling back and finding angles to shoot. So we get up into this good position here, and we're hoping we can shoot this Super Conqueror there, and we get a lovely shot through his turret, and you just really rack up the damage in this tank. We do in fact get spotted though, so we need to try and get out of dodge because the enemy fun police, the enemy artillery is looking to shoot us. Obviously, when it comes to armour, this tank doesn't have any. It's to be expected. It's not that kind of tank. It's basically a tank where you just sort of use your mobility, use your concealment to your advantage, just to get this gun slinging and catch targets off guard. It's honestly, I've had so much fun in this tank. I do think it's probably overpowered. I mean, it is overpowered in my opinion if you're able to play these type of tanks. But I have had a lot of fun playing it, I can't lie. So we're going to try and see if we can get some more shots. I've backed up to this position. I'm thinking about knocking this tree down just to give us a little bit of boost of concealment. I do have to be concerned if the enemy artillery starts looking this way, if I get detected. But whilst looking at my mini-map here, I've noticed a lot of the team, enemy team has started to push down the opposite side. and I need to get back to that way to try and spot for my team, because there isn't actually any enemy light tanks in this game, and that's good for us because we can, you know, got a bigger chance of outspotting these targets. So we're going to move now to see if we can get to a position to light these tanks up and try and get some early damage in. So looking to get a shot through the M60. Unfortunately, I don't let it fully aim. The bloom circle on the move is not really good on this tank, but it has fantastic aim time. So when you stop, it does not take long to aim, and the accuracy in this gun is really, really good. So it doesn't troll you with shots. You tend just to hit your shots. It's really nice. So get a nice shot into M60. We'll put them onto a one shot here. Looking to try and finish him off if I can. And you can just see how good the concealment and view range is. So I should have to finish here, but unfortunately I'm not quite reloaded, but then hopefully I do get the kill. And we do, we confirm that kill at M60. Picking up our first kill of the game, picking up a little bit of assistance as well, and 2,000 damage. So decent start to the game here. And I feel like it's probably, the Erlenberg can be a little bit of a camping map. You haven't really got out of our side of the spawn, but this is really where we need to be, just trying to keep these tanks spotted here. So with the 290 pen and the M60 turret, I probably do need to hit the cupola. Unfortunately, I don't hit it that time. I'm not really taking any damage in return. You see, if he tries to shoot us, he really has to over poke, and I'm quite a small target to actually hit. Unfortunately, I bounce again, but I'm just going to dodge weave. Like I say, my main focus is keeping this tank spotted, and hoping that our friendly team will get some shots, or our friendly artillery, our friendly front police will be able to shoot him from the sky. So I was hoping there to get a shot through the drive wheel. Again, a bounce, not great, but yeah, I really want to get rid of this target if I can, because if I can kill this M60, I might be able to move up and try and spot a few more targets for my team. But I'm under no real, I guess the pace of this game is quite slow, so I'm under no real pressure at the moment. I just want to keep these targets detected. But there we go, we do slap that M60 and actually set him on fire, and he gets taken out. And we pick up a bit of track assistance as well, putting us onto 3,000 assistance now with 3,000 damage. You can see how quickly you can start to pick up damage. So far, you see, I haven't used my small gun. I do use it, it does come in very, very handy. I swap between the two rounds, but at the moment, I've mainly just had to use my premium rounds. Like I say, it doesn't make sense for me to use the 500 alpha, because most of the time I'd rather wait a couple of extra seconds to have more alpha, and as well it makes it easier to swap between rounds, only having those 2 rounds to swap between. So now that M60 died, I've moved further forward to try and get to a better position, and I high roll on that enemy tank destroyer there, T95, roaring for over 700, and that happens quite a lot. And honestly, this tank is so satisfying to play. Well, at least I've had, the limited games I've played. I haven't played many, because I think I've only started playing this, today where I've got this video. But I will definitely have some more games. So auto aim that T95, get very lucky and pick up a kill. Confirming our second kill, putting us on to just shy of 5,000 damage now with 3,000 assistance of our own and 9 tanks remaining. So we're starting to take the lead here. I'm going to just try and keep my view, this area spotted. The other enemy turtle tank is the tier 9, which you can earn for free, and which I had my video released on that tank yesterday, which is also very, very good tank. Is poking here on the left, keeping us spotted, and it's a Randy Squirrel again. He was in my video in the last one, and the Randy Squirrel is a very, very, very nice guy. It's not me, it's a different person. It's the squirrel, it's not me. We try and get a shot into the turret there. Unfortunately, we ricocheted, and I'm trying to be careful when I peek, because there could be tanks on the sort of J12 area also looking to shoot us as we're poking these targets here. We bounce again off the turret, and we end up eating one in return, which was not ideal, but we still got the majority of our hit points left. I feel like this enemy, the random squirrel there, is going to start to take punish from our team if I can keep him spotted, but I do really need to focus him out if I can. This time we do pen the turret, putting us onto 5,000 damage with 3,000 assistance. And if I could just get rid of these tanks in front of me, that's when the game's going to open up. Because Erlenberg often is very campy at the start of the game. It's just a design and a map. But once you've sort of broke free, if you like, you can then sort of try and abuse it and pick up a bit more damage and assistance in the later stages of the game when you start to push their spawn. So the assistance is racking up now. If we can get rid of this Italian tank destroyer, that's when I'll be able to move. I'm just going to try and lose my spot. And I'm hoping this tank destroyer is not going to survive for much longer, because the second he dies, it will open up the game. It'll give me options to move. But at the moment, I need to get rid of him, because otherwise he's going to proxy spot us as he's going to spot us when we poke this ridge. I'm going to see if we can try and finish him off. I'm expecting him to get shot by our team here, but he does. He gets shut down by our friendly front police. Now that's opened up the doors so we can push their base. It's 11 versus 7. Definitely feels like we are going to win this one, but I just want to try and make the most of this game. We have had a decent start to this game. 5,000 damage, 4,000 assistance already, and honestly I've had constant big games with this tank so far. Like, I'm really looking forward to playing this tank a bit more and seeing what I can get. I'm sure I can get a 10k game in this tank, so it's very, very capable of it. So we get a nice shot into that enemy tank destroyer. He gets shut down. That puts us on to over 4,000 assistance with over 5,600 damage now, with still 6 tanks remaining. I'm going to try and push up. We know one of the enemy TDs and the medium tank is still on the 8-9 line on our side, but we have plenty of tanks defending our base. I'm just going to try and push the tanks which I suspect are in their base, and then that will lead us to trying to kill the fun police, which is going to be at the sort of B2 location. It's the only place it really can be. As we move, we find this enemy medium. It gets tracked, so we give her time to let that balloon go down and get the shot in. Put us over to the 6,000 damage. We then swap to the small gun straight after, so we had time to shoot that little tank on the ridge. And that's the sort of thing I was talking about with the small gun. It just, when you haven't got time to wait for that big reload, you just use the 250 alpha shot. It's really, really nice like that. We're then able to finish off that enemy medium tank, putting us on to 6,600 damage with 3 kills and 5,400 assistance. So we've had an over 10k combined game now. There's only 2 tanks remaining. The one-shot enemy tank destroyer gets shut down, and now this enemy artillery. And you can see I'm racing there. I want to try and get another big shot into him if I can, which will mean I'll put me over 7,000 damage with 5,400 assistance, and having a really decent game. So we're going to cross over towards this artillery. We expect him to be around about here somewhere. Just hoping I don't get shotgunned, but I'm going to go in. If I do get shotgunned, it is what it is. I'm just going in for the damage, because this damage is not going to last long. I want that one big shot. I do manage to get it. He does put a big shot into me, but yeah, thankfully he doesn't kill me. I swapped to the small round to get the kill, but it gets shut down by the Leopard PTA. So that's it for replay number 1, but with one more replay to come. We finished that one with 3 kills, 7,300 damage, 5,500 assistance, and of course getting the ace tanker, the scout medal, and the high caliber. So let's move on to the final replay of the video. Okay, so we've made it then to the final replay on Kasserine. Now this time there is no enemy artillery and also no enemy light tanks in this game, which is very, very good as well. So Kasserine is a very big map, and big maps is your friend on this tank, because it gives you lots of options to move around the map and abuse your view range and your concealment. So they're the ideal scenarios for this type of map, because you've got the mobility to cross the distance, and you've also got the ability to use bits of maps to basically just abuse your view range with your concealment factor, and play that mobile tank destroyer. A lot of time I play this tank like a light tank, and I take really aggressive positions because you can do it. So we're going to try and take this position at the start, which I like to do from this spawn. It allows you to get cross shots on the right hand side, and sometimes you can just spot tanks, on the opposite side of the ridge. So I try and poke this ridge. We do spot an enemy FE1005. We put a shot into him, getting our first bit of damage in, and then we get back into cover. And I've got to be careful now. I can't really poke like how I did on that FE1005, because he will slap me. But I get a nice cross shot onto that medium cross in there, and straight away, very decent start to the game, already over to 1,000 damage. And this is perfect for me, because tanks are now crossing in front of me, and that's going to allow me to farm damage. Enemy medium tank crosses, we put another shot in. This time we low roll for 540, but we're just going to wait till this reload comes back off. We're going to do the same thing, and we're going to shoot down and try and get some more damage. We do that, put this medium onto a one shot, putting us onto 2,400, and I'm thinking this game is going really well. This is a great start. It looks like the majority of our team is this way, but so is the enemy team. We get another shot there into the enemy Italian heavy tank, putting us under 3,000 damage. And we are actually one tank down at this stage. But so far so good. You know, we've got all of our hit points and we've got a bit of damage in. Now we know there's some tank destroyers, you know, pretty much where I'm looking there. I could start blind firing them, but I was just waiting to see if I get spotted there. I try and spot the other side, and just to make sure I can extend my view range, just, you know, so we don't get snuck up on, if you like. But I'm waiting to see if we can get a shot into these tank destroyers, but they are quite sort of hidden behind the rocks. So it's making our life a little bit awkward to try and get shots in. But I'm just going to be a little bit patient. I think this waffle is about to peak here, so I'm waiting to try and get a shot in. But as that happens, another enemy Ruthless starts to cross, and we're going to look to try and get a shot into this target, see if we can get a shot into the Ruthless. But then, unfortunately, the two tanks on the left-hand side of the map, because all of our tanks seem to be in one location, they've kind of got free reign over there, going towards our base. So I might have to start to do something about that. I'm starting to look that way, so if they poke, you see I'm having a little bit issues here with the gun elevation. That is can be a problem. But we're probably going to have to start dealing with those tanks. I was just going to see if I could get a shot, though, into those tank destroyers we saw earlier. Because these enemy TD, it's not really poking high enough for us to get a shot in. It's being a little bit cautious. We try and snap a shot into that enemy heavy tank, into the new Chinese heavies. And I'm thinking, right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to try and relocate that location. It's kind of outlived its usefulness to us now, because the tanks are on the other side of the map. And we need to go that way to try and defend our base. Otherwise, we'll end up getting capped out. And we'll also end up losing map control and get pincered into one location. But we're starting to lose this game. It's gone to a 9 versus 11. I'm not too concerned yet, because you know, there's still a long way to go. I'm just going to see if we can get any damage over here and see if we can catch this Italian tank destroyer out by, you know, using our mobility. You see how quickly we can come now. We put him in an awkward situation. We do unfortunately get detected for our shot. We swapped to the small gun to get another shot in, because we wasn't going to be able to land a big shot before we got into cover. And you know, that's just the beauty of being able to swap between those shells. It's so flexible. But there you go. This is the brilliant driving by the Randy Duck. Taking my lessons off of the Petty 360 there, I've managed to crash on a big open map on a rock and I'm sideways. But thankfully, we're able to get out of there at the end. But we've wasted a bit of time being upside down. And now we're going to try and fall back a little bit, because I've lost where that enemy heavy tank was. I want to try and get some shots in. I was struggling to get my gun elevation up there. And I'm also concerned that we seem to be potentially losing the other side. I'm not too sure. I'm going to try and just fall back and play this safe, so I can try and get a situation where I can shoot both sides, if you like. Because enemy 705 has now got spotted, and I'm going to look to try and land a shot into him if possible, so we can get a side shot into this tank here. So we're looking to try and land our shot, trying to go for the drive rule shot. Unfortunately, we do track him, but we don't pen him, which is not ideal. I'd like to have landed that shot if possible. I should still be able to at least land one now. He's ammo rack, so I might even get a chance to ammo rack him. I don't detonate that ammo rack, but we do land a big shot, putting us under 4,400 damage. And then this enemy, a Death Star, gets spotted in the open. So we're looking to just try and find a shot. I have to drive a little bit to try and get above the gun elevation issues. We get a nice shot in, but he is definitely alerted to our position now. So we've got to be a bit careful, because this is a very close game at this stage. I definitely don't want to die. I don't want to drive across that rock like I was doing. Try and flip myself again for good measure. Definitely don't drive like me. Do better. So we got to try and spot the side behind us, because I don't want to get snuck up on by that enemy VZ heavy tank. Italian tank gets shot. Thankfully that shot goes in. I do eat one off of that VZ, which is not ideal, but we killed the enemy Italian tank destroyer, so that's good. And now we're just trying to hide from this Death Star. I'm going to go and try and spot that Death Star and see if we can finish him off. I don't like the fact that he's staying in the open on that sort of area. I don't want to get shut down by this tank. So we're going to try and land a shot into him. We set him on fire. We end up picking up the kill, putting us onto 2 kills now with 6,000 damage. And still 4 tanks remaining. We're in a 4 versus 4. Now the enemy BZ, I'm not that worried about, in the sense that it's a big map. If he's used all his rocket boosters, then he's going to be very, very slow. I'm going to be able to outmaneuver him, and just play the distance here. So I know I've got time on my hand. I don't want to take any unnecessary risks here. He has just seen the rocket boosting the cross. I'm going to wait here and see if I can get a shot in as he leaves. I do put one in, puts us on to about 6,600 damage now. And now I'm thinking, right, so I've got 2 tanks, I know where they are. We've got this enemy BZ, and then we've got this enemy heavy tank, the 705, which was last seen heading towards our cap circle. And my guess is he's probably going to start to get in the cap circle, and I don't want to get capped out, so I'm going to have to go back. I want to try and get that BZ because he's got all the hit points, but at the same time I don't want to get capped out, so I need to try and deal with the tank heading towards our base, because I do want to try and pick up the win as well. He does still have quite a bit of hit points, about 800 hit points, so not enough for us to kill in one shot, but what we can do is shoot him with the big gun and then swap to our small gun, and we can finish him off. We can eat a shot off of his tank if we need to. I was hoping to be able to catch him out there. Unfortunately for me, he's just behind a rock, so I chanced that. It really was never going to pen, but I thought I'd give it a go. So we've got plenty of time because there's no other tanks near this tank, and we've got time to go and kill him. So we're going to go over there and try and kill this tank, because we're not going to be able to get shots from where we are. But plan is we're just going to come behind him, put a big shot in, and then we can swap to that small gun to finish him off. So that's the plan, because if we can kill this tank, we can then go over to the other side. The enemy team are actually starting to win on the other side, so I might still have a fight left once we kill this tank. We should be able to catch him off guard here. We do go round. We're going to put a shot through his drive wheel there, or through the side of his tank, swap to the small gun, and now we're already loaded, ready to finish him off. All we need is a small gun to kill him. We put a shot through the drive wheel, picking up the kill, putting us onto 3 kills now with 7,500 damage, and 1 tank remaining, the enemy Chinese heavy tank. Going to try and head over there. It's still actually pretty healthy, so we've got a chance to get, well, close to the 9,000 damage, I think, here, if we're able to pick up the remaining of his hit points. Obviously, I do want to be careful. I'm a 2-shot to this target. I'll actually potentially, if he shoots the HE rounds, I don't want to risk actually getting 1 shot by the HE rounds. It wouldn't be ideal. So I do need to be a little bit careful. But at the same time, he's getting pushed by a Waffle E100. And I don't want our Waffle to clip him out before I can get some damage. I'm having a good game, and he's playing very, very safe. He's playing well, actually, and I need to try and get closer because he's not really poking for us to get the shots. So my plan is to just try and catch him off guard and come around the back of him and get a shot in, similarly to what I did before. He has turned for me, though. I put a shot in. I might end up eating a shot for this. I need to try and get round this ridge to make it difficult for him at least to get a shot in. Thankfully, he misses. That gives me the time to land my 2nd shot here. Put 1 for the lower plate, puts him onto a 1-shot, puts him just shy of 9,000 damage. I swapped to the small gun to try and pick up this kill shot there, but unfortunately, IS4 gets there before me. And that brings us then to replay number 2. But you see, we still have a really good game as well. We get 3 kills, just shy of 9,000 damage, picking up the ace tanker and 600 assistance as well. So that's it for the video. Thank you so much for the support. As always, if you like the channel, please remember to like and subscribe, because it really does help out the channel. And as always, happy tanking.
Hadouken!